Hello, family. Welcome to Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast. I'm your host, Emmanuel Barbie. Before we get into today's episode, if you are new to this podcast or if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel as of yet, please do so now. And also be sure to tap the notification bell for alerts when we drop a new episode. Please let us know in the comments section below this audio podcast where you're listening to us from. Also, let us know what's happening in your country, in your state, and or in your city so that we can discuss it on this platform in real time. Because I want to connect with my listeners. I'm not about, just sitting up here running off at the mouth. I have my own style and way of doing things, and I'm not trying to be like the next black man. I'm just being myself, and I keep it authentic. We are a global community, and we want to keep our listeners informed about what's going on with black people and African people around the globe. I would like for us to grow this platform to 500,000 strong and even more. So that way we can get our film project, the message through word of mouth to get our film project fully funded and made. So that way we can use the proceeds from the film, or I can use the proceeds from the film to purchase property in Chicago, Illinois within the black community and become an economic base within the black community. Let me just rephrase that, within the low income black community or the low income black neighborhood. Eventually, in God's timing, we will be hosting African tours, Caribbean tours, and South American tours so that we can move beyond cyberspace and make our presence known in cities and countries around the globe. Because I want this to be an interactive space for us, not just for GCAM members just to be behind a computer. On this platform, we are more than just talk. We will put boots on the ground and do what we can to help improve the social conditions of our people who want more out of life and who become GCAM members. Because after all, I'm only responsible for GCAM members. Those that don't want to be a part of us, no problem. We pray for them, we show them tough love, and we keep it moving. To learn more about business opportunities within our media component, please purchase my ebook and read my story for yourself. The name of my book is, quote, The Solution for Black America, Reclaiming, Rebuilding, and Restoring the Urban Ghettos in America, second edition. It's available in two forms. It's available as an ebook for $9.99. It's also available as a softcover book for $15 plus shipping and handling, ladies and gentlemen. And I provide the link to my Amazon author page in the comment section below this audio podcast. And again, if you agree with my vision and plan to help improve Black America, specifically Black Chicago, then you will automatically become a GCAM member. I'm looking forward to connecting with many of you. And again, I thank those of you who have supported this important piece of work that we're trying to do. Disclaimer: this content is for educational and informational purposes only. It is based on publicly available reports and verified media sources. We fully comply with YouTube's community guidelines. We do not promote violence, hate, or misinformation in any form. This podcast is available in two forms: as an audio, as well as in written text in order for us to reach our audience where they're at. So what I do over here is that after I finish reading my presentation, um, then I try to walk I would say, my listeners through my Medium page or Medium transcript, and the Medium transcript is going to be in the comment section below this audio podcast. You can click on that link, and you would be able to um, see all of my sources. So I have my sources, which is my receipts. I use articles for those that like to read, such as myself. And I also use videos for those that don't like to read because I have to reach people where they're at. It is what it is. Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast is our Black media component. I would like to encourage my listeners to subscribe to my Medium page where you can follow along during this presentation. I provide my Medium transcript in the comment section below this audio podcast. Attention, Black artists, African artists who are authors, comedians, poets, musicians, or entrepreneurs. I share my platform with those of you who are on my social media pages or in my social groups on Facebook and LinkedIn. All you have to do is make arrangements with me to come on this platform so that you can promote your books, your business, your music, your jokes. And if you have a small ministry, then you're more than welcome to share a 30-minute sermon with my listeners from the global community. After the show, oh, wow, just bear with me. So after the show, I offer incentives to my guest speakers by teaching them how to create their own podcast, YouTube channel, and get it monetized, as well as assist them with creating a free Wix website. If they work hard at growing their audience, then they will get sponsors who will help fund either their online business or online ministry. So, and let's say, for example, if you don't know how to use StreamYard or Zoom, then I'm be willing to teach you how to use both of them. So that way you can come on this platform and all that good stuff. So I am available, I would say Tuesday, April 21st through Thursday, April 23rd. Then I'm available on Sunday, April 26th through Tuesday, April 28th, and Thursday, April 30th. And that would be from 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. American Central Time. So those of you, let's say, that lives outside of the United States, you're just going to have to, figure out, the time zones and all that good stuff. But usually, I would say if you're in Canada, so that would be 3 p.m. Canadian time, 8 p.m. West African time, 9 p.m. South African time, 10 p.m. East African time, and 8 p.m. UK time if I start the show at 2 p.m. American Central Time. So that's the best that I know how to explain that to you on that. On this platform, we keep you informed and empowered from wherever you are, either from the diaspora or on the African continent. Don't just listen to the platform, join GERCAM, ladies and gentlemen. I want to do more than just news and social commentary, but at this point in time, this is where I'm at. I'm unable to hire anyone because, hey, let's keep it real. I'm not making any money from my books. or from my virtual store. And so that's the whole purpose of me writing my book. I wrote my book because I sell knowledge. I don't sell dope. I'm a law-abiding citizen. Ain't no scams over here. Those of you that think that this is a scam, my advice to you is just delete me off your friends list. Go on about your business. You know what I'm saying? If you're not interested in solving Black issues or solving African issues, my suggestion to you is delete me off your friends list. Go on about your business. I'm here to recruit brave and smart, like-minded Black Americans beyond Chicago, brave and smart African immigrants throughout the United States from 10 African nations in order to help speed up this process. Ladies and gentlemen, I created this platform in order to broadcast my vision and plan across the United States of America to recruit brave and smart, like-minded Black Americans, like I say, beyond Chicago, because a lot of Black Chicagoans, I'm saying in real life as well as online, they tell me they're not interested. I'm like, cool, no problem. Keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? Here's what it is. But those that have rejected me, and once I start making money and all that good stuff, ain't nothing changing on my end. We're going to be strangers for life. So GRCAM is geared toward Black Americans who identify as DAS FM, descendants of American slaves / freedmen. That's what I am. And that's who I want to deal with. Also, I want to recruit brave and smart, like-minded African immigrants from 10 African nations. They are as follows: South Africa, Kenya, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Uganda, Angola, Liberia, Ivory Coast, Ghana, and Nigeria. I'm encouraging both groups to please first read my story for yourself, so that way you'll know what you're getting yourself involved with. Everything I've written in that book, we're going to carry that out to the fullest. Everything. So help me God. In my book, I provide my business email, so that way you could, if you're on business, then contact me. I only want to hear from those that's in agreement. At this point in time in the game, I don't have time to sit up here and debate. Endless debates. That's not going to solve our problems. I'm also reaching out to the global African family to help me get my revised book on that bestsellers list, so that way I can be in a better position financially to hire Black people, African people, and others. I want my advisory board or a resource team for people to be on that, to have at least an associate's degree or above. I don't think that's asking for too much. I just want brave and smart people that's going to help me run this business without me having to be present. Because once we get it popping here in the city of Chicago, and then I'm turning the business over to my advisory board or resource team, and I'm bringing it over to South Africa. And I plan on spending the rest of my life on the African continent to work with Africans that want more out of life, because I gave Black America 34 years of my life and I'm still on first base, and that is unacceptable, ladies and gentlemen. Unacceptable. I want Black attorneys / African attorneys, investors, Black entrepreneurs, African entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs, and philanthropists to be on my advisory board. Ladies and gentlemen, once we get our film project fully funded and made, and the proceeds from the film starts pouring in, then I would be in a better position financially to purchase property in Chicago, Illinois, buy office equipment, hire qualified Black middle class professionals, and qualified African immigrants. Global African family, if you're serious about me bringing my Christian business to the African continent, again, please help me get my ebook on that bestsellers list. Put me on blast, ladies and gentlemen. It does not matter how bad I want to get this my Black Christian business up and running in Chicago. Without financial support from the Black grassroots and the global African family, then I am unable to do my God given assignment, which is to build the best Black Christian business within the United States of America with the help of GRCAM members. And that would be the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago. We want to build that here for credibility. We bring in this business to the low income Black community, quote unquote, the hood, before I cut and run to Africa. This is what I want to be remembered for. I encourage everyone in my Christian groups on Facebook. That would be Light of the World Inspirational Group and Christian Spoken Word Network. I need you all to stand up. Stand up. Help me get that ebook on that bestsellers list. Make arrangements with me to come on this platform so that way you can promote your ministries, your business, all that good stuff. Because those of you that's just on there just want to be seen, our time is, your time with me is coming to an end. Because I'm going to be out in the field. I'm not going to be behind a computer. I also want to encourage everyone in my secular groups, which is Gurkai of Africa, Gurkai of Chicago, and other, etc. Even Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast on Facebook as a group. I need you all to stand up. Put me on blast. Please leave a public comment about my YouTube channel. About my latest audio podcast. That's what I'm working on right now as we speak. Share the link with all of your friends on all social media sites that you are on. And most of all, please help me get my ebook on that bestsellers list so that way I can be in a better position financially to hire Black people, African people, and others. Because if I'm not making any money, then I can't hire anybody. It's just that simple, ladies and gentlemen. And it's unfortunately, we have to explain to Black Americans, support Black businesses. That should be a given. But because of this slave mentality, Black Americans patronize everybody else, all these other groups that hate us with a passion, racist groups. You're keeping them in power. You're allowing them to thrive. But you want people such as myself to wither on the vine. That's not cool at all. But that's okay. That's fine. Because what's going on, I try to use, current events or what's going on in the world, in the news. I try to use those things and apply it to our situation. Again, I do not want to waste another 34 years. I mean business. I've been standing on Black business for 34 years. And it's just ridiculous. But and I'm getting up in age and all that stuff too. But before I cut and run, and before I come to Africa, this is my God given assignment. I'm just trying to get the business up and running here in Chicago. Now, in the book, I did wrote because I was trying to be, I was thinking positive, so to speak. So I was hoping that, Kyle Chicago would be a model for all the cities across all the inner cities across the United States of America. And at least I was hoping that Kyle Chicago would be up and running in at least 10 cities by now. I didn't know I was still going to be on first base. And in at least 5 African nations by now. But I'm still on first base. And so I'm like, this is how come I created this platform. And I give people an opportunity, everybody an opportunity to come on this platform. Don't be scared. We're just having a conversation, ladies and gentlemen. I don't do the trying to I'm not into diaspora wars over here. We're about building. I encourage Black content creators and African content creators who have a large following. Please allow me to come on your platform so that I can speak to your audience about my revised book and about my film project. After all, my Christian business is for Black millennials and Generation Z, trying to create jobs for those young people, especially in our inner cities, especially for our Black youth, Black males particular, to get them off the streets and out of gangs, put money in their pocket in terms of a stipend, still being paid, but we're gonna pay a stipend, but that's still money, putting money in their pockets so that they can feed their families without falling into becoming a career criminal, following the wrong crowd, so to speak. In my business, we're about raising the bar in Black America. We want to separate ourselves from con artists, hardened criminals, pedophiles, degenerates, the Black Boule, Democrat shields, urban terrorists. Those people don't mean us any good. I'm just saying. Again, I don't want to die in America. I want to bring my business to the African continent. That's why I'm pushing the vision to the Black world. This is my contribution to Africa's rising. Everyone on my friends list. Oh, let me say this. Anyone on my friends list or anyone in my social groups that care less about solving Black issues or solving African issues, then just please delete me off your friends list and go on about your business. That's less people for me to have to worry about. With that being said, I encourage all of my listeners from the global community, if you are unable to afford my ebook, $9.99, no biggie, then please put me on blast by leaving a public comment on my YouTube page about my latest audio podcast, which is what I'm doing right now. Share the link with all of your friends on all social media sites that you are on. This will help get the ball rolling. This year, we are determined to get this film project fully funded and made so that we can get our story on the big screen in order to reach the Black world and let them know who we are and what we're trying to do for descendants of American slaves / freedmen who reside in the low-income Black community. Upcoming events. I would like to encourage my listeners to mark your calendar For our upcoming events, Friday, April 24th, we have guest speaker Apostle Kenyetta Harris from Florida. And Wednesday, April 29th, we have guest speaker Pastor Denise B. Lawrence from Georgia. Saturday, April 25th, we're hosting our monthly virtual interactive conference. I would like to encourage at least 5 people from one of my social media sites to be on our panel, either on my Facebook page, my Instagram page, my TikTok page, my LinkedIn page, or from my X page. If interested in being on the panel, then please send me a message to my inbox from one of those sites along with your email address so that I can email you specific instructions about being on the panel. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are unable to participate on our monthly virtual interactive conference, no worries. Then please listen to the replay. Leave a public comment about the topic in the comment section below the audio podcast. And most of all, please share this audio podcast with your friends on all social media sites that you're on. That would help big time. Okay, so the theme is RCAM members worldwide, please stand up. When are we going to get this film project fully funded and made? That's the theme. And basically, you can talk about all of the topics that I mentioned in the month of April. You can ask me specific questions. You know what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen? When I do side B, side A, I'm going to do a little pep talk. I'm going to go and explain about becoming a GRCAM member and all that good stuff. Because after all, I only do this once a month. But I'm doing the best that I can without shame. And that's how come I do it on a video podcast so people can see me, you know? And I'm documenting what I'm doing so people could be like, oh, what have you been doing? Blah, blah, blah. I'm saying, hey, just check out my videos. You know what I'm saying? Listen to my audio podcasts. Most of all, purchase my book if you want to know what I have been doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to explain nothing to you because it's already in writing. You know? So where? YouTube Live, when? Saturday, April 25th. Again, time, 2 p.m. American Central Time, 3 p.m. Canadian Time, 8 p.m. West African Time, 9 p.m. South African Time, 10 p.m. East African Time, and 8 p.m. UK Time. Title of this presentation, ladies and gentlemen. So this is my current audio or podcast. This is the current one today. The unalive of a teenager at a bus stop in Chicago, and also 8 children in Louisiana murdered in domestic disturbance. Then the other topic will be Julius Malema sentenced to 5 years in prison. In this episode, we will discuss the unalive of a teenager at a bus stop in Chicago. We will also discuss 8 children in Louisiana murdered in domestic disturbance. Finally, we will discuss Julius Malema being sentenced to 5 years in prison and what does this mean for Black South Africans. In this report, we will break down the implications of Malema's sentencing and potential impact it will have on the EFF, which stands for Economic Freedom Fighters, and what this outcome signals for the future of political power, opposition movements, and democracy in South Africa. Is this justice or is this something deeper? South Africa stands at a critical road cross, and this development could reshape the country's political landscape. Our first topic: the unaliving of a teenager at a bus stop in Chicago, and also 8 children in Louisiana murdered in domestic disturbance. On the behalf of the grassroots community activist movement, our hearts and prayers goes out to the victims' family members of the teenager who was gunned down by urban terrorists on Thursday, April 16th. I watched a news report from ABC News about 2 young black youth who were waiting on on the bus after, after school. To watch the full video, just go to my Medium transcript located in the comment section below this audio podcast. Um, Click on the link, then scroll down to show and prove. Um, so it was 2 people. It was a black a black boy and a black girl. Both of them were teenagers. They was coming from high school. Trying to go home. One was fatally shot, and he died by urban terrorists who just drove up and started shooting at them like they were animals in the woods. American society does not care about black youth being murdered in the streets. They care more about animals. If urban terrorists were harming animals the way they harm black youth in America, that would be all kinds of laws put on the books to hold these urban terrorists accountable. Again, this is why Kakao Chicago is needed, ladies and gentlemen, right here. Not just only here, but in all the inner cities in America. But like I said, it is extremely difficult. It's extremely, because it's been 34 years that I've been trying to get this thing up and running. Our black youth are not protected. It does not matter how bad I want to get this business up and running. Without financial support from the black grassroots and the global African family, then I'm unable to do my part. How can I do my part if my book is not selling? If items from my virtual store is not selling? Huh? So this is where we're at. If Black America does not support its advocates, then we won't have any advocates. I'm just saying. The second story I heard about was 8 children in Louisiana was murdered by their black father in a domestic disturbance. And again, on behalf of the grassroots community activist movement, our hearts and prayers goes out to the victims' family members who were gunned down by their own father. To watch the full video, just go to my Medium transcript located in the comment section below this audio podcast. Click on the link, then scroll down to show and prove. I've been standing on black business faithfully. That's the lesson we can teach. I would say Africans on the African continent about standing on business, even though if you don't have a lot of support or no support at all, just stand on business. And those are the people I'm trying to connect with big time. That's how come I created this platform, because I want the black world to know my story. And I want to make sure none of my members would never have to go through this type of foolishness, because we're going to support our members, especially I would say our black youth that got good ideas. You don't sit up here and just like look down on it. I hate to say it, but doggone it, the dope man, he has more support from the black community than me. And that's unfortunate. because that dope, man, this is why we have a lot of dysfunction in our community. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Prior to the civil rights movement, we didn't have those issues. It was the white supremacist financial elites that flooded the low income, um, I would just say the black ghettos with drugs, guns, and liquor stores. And as I stated in my revised book, that's a to me, that's perfect genocide of a people. But thank the Lord that a lot of our people, such as myself, we survived, the crack era. That was rough. The crack epidemic, that was really rough during the 80s and 90s. And so that's why it's a lot of dysfunction. I'm willing to work with my brothers and sisters that's trapped in American ghettos, starting here in my own city. But I don't want to be doing this another 34 years, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to be able to bring my business over to the African continent. This is why I'm reaching out to African immigrants across the United States from 10 African nations to help speed up this process. All I'm selling is a book. And yes, I know a lot of Black Americans, they're offended by that I'm claiming a solution, because a lot of Black Americans don't want a solution. A lot of Black Americans after the civil rights era have become Americanized, and they have a narcissist type of attitude. I got mine, you get yours. They care less about the Black community, let alone the Black children that's suffering. And that's how it is. And that's what I'm up against, this slave mentality. GCAM members across the United States of America, I need your help. We are the only ones who will build the best Black Christian business within the United States of America. Because this goes in line with what our ancestors did under Jim Crow. They built their own cities and towns. We're going to build it from the mud, or in layman terms, from the ground up. We're going to own and control our own community grocery store, community healthcare clinic, and community housing. We're going to build our own recreational center. So help me God. We're going to expand and replicate Archive Chicago in 10 African nations once we get it popping here in Chicago. So help me God. We're going to have standards, and we're all going to be on code. That means we're going to be on one accord, and there's not going to be somebody that's going to be, oh, I disagree and all that stuff. We ain't having that at all. That's why I want people to read my story first and foremost. In time, Archive Chicago will become an international franchise. So help me God. Once we raise the funds for our film project, then I will hire a seasoned director who will share my passion about my story. I'm also going to direct the film, but again, I'm not going to sit up here and be, arrogant. That's not how I get down. I'm not ashamed to ask for help. And this is bigger than myself. I understand my assignment. But again, I'm checking anybody that want to try to, sabotage this type of business. Because after all, this business is about passing it down to the next generation. I can't pass this down to my own family because they're full of Willie Lynch. So if my family members, if I'm not going to allow them to be part of my business, how you think I'm going to be with strangers? You know what I'm saying? If you disagree, I ain't fooling with you. It's just that simple. This business is geared toward Black parents. After all, you're the one that have the children. I don't have kids because this world don't deserve my seed, but that's another story. My thing is, I'm trying to help my people that want more out of life, descendants of American slaves slash freedmen. You know what I'm saying? And yes, I mean, the reason why we're going through a lot, I would say those of us that, I would say from the inner cities or the low income black community is because of finances. And it's just, we have to deal with the slave mentality head on, ladies and gentlemen, bottom line. And African immigrants is going to have to deal with that colonized mindset head on. And that's what we're going to do through Gakai of Chicago. Both groups, we're going to heal. Both of us are going to heal. We're going to learn how to trust each other. We're going to learn how to do business with each other. We're going to learn how to respect each other's culture. And we're going to replicate the business to the African continent. So that way we can trade among ourselves and do business among ourselves. You know what I'm saying? I will also hire, um, I'm going to say, qualified actors and screenwriters who has the ability of writing or that's a good storyteller. We're not using a real big budget. Our goal is to raise $250,000. I preferred 500,000, but hey, I mean, this is as low as I'm going. But I want us to make a quality Black empowerment film, ladies and gentlemen. The first order of business is to make sure that everybody's involved with our film project is on code. Please leave a public comment about the topic in the comment section below this audio podcast and share it with your friends on all social media sites that you are on. This will help get the ball rolling. Our second topic, Julius Malema, sentenced to 5 years in prison. I came across a YouTube video entitled, quote, "The Real Reason Why Julius Malema is Sentenced to 5 years in Jail," unquote. By, guys, just bear with me because, I don't know how to speak, or might not be able to pronounce his last name correctly, but I just do my best. His name is Zach. Last name is Costa. Okay, I did my best. To watch the full video, just go to my Medium transcript located in the comments section below this audio podcast. Click on the link, then scroll down to show and prove. He's currently out on bail right now. We're going to talk about who brought this case against him and why this group has been a problem. I have been talking about this particular group of people in South Africa for years. The South African court took action against Julius Malema, the only freedom fighter they have left in South Africa. According to Zach Maui Costa, Malema has been embroiled in a variety of legal issues throughout his political career. In 2012, he was charged with fraud, money laundering, and racketeering. After numerous postponements, and case was dismissed by the courts in 2015 due to repeated delays by the national prosecuting authorities. On October 1st, 2025, Malema was convicted of 5 offenses, including the illegal possession of a firearm and ammunition, illegally firing a weapon in public, and reckless endangerment. The offenses related to an EFF rally at which Malema fired between 14 and 15 live rounds on the stage in front of approximately 20,000 supporters. In April 2026, he was sentenced to 5 years in prison for these convictions. Under the Constitution of South Africa, anyone who receives a sentence of 12 months or more without the option of a fine and who does not have the judgment overturned on appeal is barred from serving as a member of parliament for 5 years. But here's the issue. When I watched some of the videos of his white bodyguard giving him the gun, and after he fired the gun, his white bodyguard takes the gun back and he sneaks off with a smirk on his face. This was Julius Malema's biggest mistake. We, as descendants of American slaves slash freedmen, know not to allow them, meaning, the white supremacists, in our mix, especially when you are stomping hard against white supremacy. You have to move very carefully. You can't be slipping. That's when you get caught up. His white bodyguard looked at the camera while he was running away with the gun. That was the main thing that they charged him with. A month after um, that video, all of a sudden, this group called AfriForum, a so-called white civil rights organization in South Africa. They claim to protect and develop the Afrikaners' identity, culture, and history, as well as the Afrikaners' language. The reality, Afrikaners or Boers are descendants from Dutch settlers who first arrived in South Africa in 1652. Until 1994, they imposed apartheid on native black South Africans. They dominated South Africa's economy and politics, as well as the country's commercial and agricultural sector. Basically, they are the former colonizers, the white supremacist financial elites, ladies and gentlemen. They went on Fox News claiming there was a white genocide happening in South Africa. They got the Trump administration to allow them to come to the United States. They were lying the whole time. They have it really good over there in South Africa. All that mean, all that mess with Trump and Elon Musk was started because of AfriForum making problems for South Africans. I warned our brothers and sisters in South Africa. I said they need to vote for Julius Malema to be their president during their last election. And they need to shut down AfriForum because Black South Africans are the majority, especially after apartheid. They have proven that they cannot manage anything without oppressing Black South Africans. I have been preaching that for years. I came across a video from from Newsroom Africa entitled, quote, AfriForum explains motive in Malema's firearm case, unquote. To watch the full video, just go to my Medium transcript located in the comment section below this audio podcast. Click on the link, then scroll down to show and prove. So a month after the video in 2018, the reason why Julius Malema got charged. There's one criticism about Julius Malema. Some Black South Africans that I have spoke with said that he advocates for open borders and that why they didn't vote for him in mass. Another criticism was that many of the EFF are young people and uneducated. That's what, some of the Black South Africans that I networked with told me. In 1994, the apartheid government transitioned political power to Nelson Mandela. They had a Truth and Reconciliation Commission. What ended up happening was Native Black Africans received political power of South Africa from Parliament, the president, the presidency, all administration positions, etc. However, white people who only make up 7% of the population kept the economic power in South Africa. Whoever controls the economy controls the land. They still hold 80% of farmland. They own the banks and a majority of businesses. They have all of the economic power in South Africa as a minority. If you know anything about American politics, the people who have the money control the politicians. Here's the facts about South Africa. Black unemployment is very high in South Africa. These white supremacist financial elites discriminate against black South Africans all the time. Stories from Cape Town, black South Africans have the political power. However, white people have the economic power. That's the point of contention. When Julius Malema talks about taking back the land, that's part of reclaiming the economic power back to native black South Africans. That's a threat to the status quo and white supremacy because these people need to take over someone else's land and resources because they don't have it in their own homeland. This is why they came to our continent because they did not have anything going on in Europe. On this platform, we preach the gospel of truth with facts. Notice when the Europeans came to Australia, they started the Black Wars. If you want to know more about the Black Wars, then go to my Medium transcript located in the comment section below this audio podcast. Click on the link, then scroll down to Show and Prove, ladies and gentlemen. When they came to Africa, they colonized Native Africans, enslaved my ancestors, and forced them on slave ships to the New World to build up their economy. Others were brought to the Caribbean and Brazil. Just look at their track record of how they harmed Native people on their own land. Look at their history of unaliving people in order to steal their land and resources. And this is why they want to whitewash the history books. But it's too late. We in the information age now. Like I mentioned earlier in this presentation, I have given Black Americans 34 years of my life trying to recruit like-minded, brave, and smart Black people and African people to help me build Gurkai of Chicago in order to help descendants of American slaves / freedmen. I can't leave America without first getting Gurkai of Chicago up and running. Not for myself, but for those who are unable to just up and relocate to another country due to their financial situations. When I come to South Africa, Gurkai will be known as Global Kemet, meaning land of the blacks. For now, I need the help of African immigrants across the United States of America to please purchase my ebook and read my story for yourself. I also need the help of Black Americans beyond Chicago to purchase my ebook and read my story for yourself. From the outside looking in, we are like, you don't want a brother who stand 10 toes down. Hey, I can't talk much because look at my situation. 34 years I've been trying to get Black Americans to help work with me to help build this business for our people. It's a straight up turnoff, for real. It is. I can't give up on this because this is my God-given assignment. I didn't ask for it. This is just something that's been going through my DNA. And I wish this God would just connect me with the right people to have the means to help get the film project fully funded and made so I can do my job. is what it is. Um, the African continent is the home for Black Africans. Yet you have you have this white woman sentencing a Black man in his own land, and that's a boy. It's such a turnoff. I wonder how that's going to affect South Africa's future. Malema's represent the resistance. He focused on land redistribution without compensation because white people in South Africa stole the land from native Black South Africans. That's just a fact. My perspective about South Africa and Julius Malema court case. After 1994, if I was there, I would have advised native Black South Africans to gather all the racist whites and deport them back to their homeland. That's real. That's what I would have told them. I would have advised them to ratify that constitution so that it reflects African interests. And that would have, and I would have advised them to offer dual citizenships and land to Black Americans who are GCAM members in exchange for our talents and skills. I would also advise them to do away with the racist town like Orania, Cliff, Cliff Lotine, and Ball. Just bear with me. Balmoral. Orania is a self-declared white-only town founded in 1991 as a place for white Afrikaners to preserve their culture, language, and private security. They have their own government, their own currency, their own flag, and a strict set of rules for who can live there. Residents must be white Afrikaners. They have controversial monuments and the rising tensions around land reform and South Africa's new ex, expro, expropriation act laws that allow the government to seize land without compensation. These issues have drawn international attention, with US President Donald Trump accusing South Africa of discriminating against white farmers. Since then, he has cut off US aid to the country and is offering Afrikaners refugee status in America. Getting back to the case, the reason why this is happening is because of off code behavior. Black South Africans, listen to me good. I have to call out your off code behavior. For example, the ANC is the largest political party in South Africa. You have so many political parties over there. The main white people's party is the DA, Democrat Alliance, and um, the FFP, Freedom Front Plus. You may not agree with everything that Julius Malema talks about, but don't allow Afroform to mess with him. Being on code means Black South Africans will defend Julius Malema at any cost. Notice white people are not going against each other. They link up with other European nations or groups. Remember what happened a few weeks ago at the UN. They all linked up on whiteness to come against blackness by not voting and being abstained. Black people and African people worldwide, this is our opportunity to link up with like-minded Black people and like-minded African people. I need you all to join GCAM so that way we can help our people domestically and internationally. That's what GCAM is about. When I'm here in America, our focus is going to be promoting solving Black American issues, or I could just say solving Black issues. When I come to South Africa, our focus is going to be on solving African issues, point blank. Nothing else on earth matters. If we lose Africa, then we lose everything. I strongly agree with Julius Malema. He was calling a lot of you out. You all set up here and target other Africans like the Nigerians and Ethiopians, every African immigrant that comes over there. But you don't say a word about those illegal white immigrants that's flooding Cape Town. I hear a lot of Jewish people are flooding from Israel is flooding Cape Town. I'm like, Lord have mercy. And you're selling land to Jewish people in Kenya. And you already see what's going on with Palestine. You give those people an inch, they're gonna want a mile. Let them go to Europe. I'm just saying. I never saw any videos of Operation Doula going hard in Cape Town against illegal white immigrants. That's not cool at all. He's pushing accountability. Julius Malema is. African immigrants did not put Black South Africans under apartheid. It was white immigrants that did that. They came from the Netherlands. That's their homeland. If they have an issue being around Black South Africans, then demand that they take their behind back to their homeland. We did not invite them to our continent. They imposed themselves, their ancestors, their descendants. It don't matter. They still over there. We didn't ask them to come there. You have to check them big time. They discriminate against you as it pertains to jobs. That's not cool at all. There's all kinds of atrocities that these people cause against Black people and African people. Look at what they're doing. They want to separate Cape Town from South Africa and call it their own country just for white people. Those racist people need to be checked big time. Again, Elon Musk is out here acting like the Afrikaners are the victims. It was their people who created the apartheid system, and now that the Black natives are pushing for equity in their own homeland, all of a sudden they feel oppressed. Then take your behind back to your homeland. Again, we did not invite your people to our continent. Your ancestors imposed themselves. I'm just saying. They wouldn't allow Black South Africans to do the same thing in their homeland or no Western nation. So we got to stop that double standard, ladies and gentlemen. Why should we allow them to do this to us? All this case is about is to prevent Julius Malema from being in parliament and running for president of South Africa. Black politicians didn't put enough laws on the books to take back the economic power from them. That's why they still control your country. If the DA obtains political power again, they will enact Apartheid 2.0. Then you will start complaining about what they're doing against you. But because you were so harsh against other Africans, they're not going to want to fight for you. These people like to go after targets like Malema to make an example out of them. AfriForum gets the video and fights to have charges put on Malema because he calls out their racism. They try getting foreign powers involved to destabilize South Africa. Black South African politicians should have been labeling them as a domestic terrorist group because that's what they are. They should have been thrown in jail for treason. You don't go to another nation and try to cause a war. All of them should have been put in jail. The goal of the Afrikaners is not to be subjugated by the Black majority. The goal of the Afrikaners is to exterminate the Black population. There shouldn't be no DA party. There's no reason y'all should have been having racists in your parliament after 1994. I love South Africa. That's why I plan on relocating there um, after I get my Black Christian business, Cacao Chicago, up and running in America. I don't want to come to South Africa empty handed. I want to bring economic tangibles in the form of job creation for Cacao members and the locals to help lower the high unemployment rate. I want to be sure that I'm able to sustain myself in Africa. I believe I believe Black South Africans deserve to live a good life and they should be able to feed their families. Operation Dula needs to use that same energy on white people. AfriForum is a national security threat to South Africa and Black politicians. The EFF, ANC, and MK parties need to put aside your differences and deal with them head on. They're causing too many problems in your homeland. I want to see you all thrive. I want to see y'all run your country. I want to see you own your own land. I want to see you control your economics. Truth be told, Western democracy is a white man's system which has not worked in Africa. For example, look at Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. Um, we have to understand the current predicament of South Africa in recent times. They have a high gun violence rate. They have many kidnappings, armed robberies, and murders. So these laws are put in place as a deterrent to would-be criminals. Julius Malema, Julius Malema, sorry, tongue twisted. Julius Malema is an important political figure in South Africa. He can't be doing anything like shooting firearms, which is highly illegal in South Africa. So he has, he made a foolish mistake because those people want to find just any little things to give him a hard time. You have to be smart, especially when you are a political figure. South Africa has become a multicultural and multiracial society. It would be hypocritical of the Black African government to allow someone to break the law and show favoritism by not prosecuting them. I think the sentence is excessive. So these laws are put in place as a deterrent to those wannabe criminals. The point here is that he discharged a firearm, which is highly illegal in South Africa, especially in public. Maybe probation is the right sentence. We like Julius Malema, but we can't defend illegality. He's hinting that he is ready for war, sort of speak. It's a unwise that was unwise. That's all I can say. This case was back in 2018. It was a long time ago. His bodyguard, who was a white man, brought him the gun on stage, and after Julius Malema shot in the air, he handed the gun back to the bodyguard. But the bodyguard didn't face any charges. This is clearly racism at play. AfriForum was the group who brought charges against Julius Malema. They wanted to get Julius Malema out of office for a long time because he speak out against white supremacy and he has been pushing for land redistribution without compensation. Remember, it's all about the land. Nelson Mandela came out of jail after serving 27 years. He made deals with those people. He never took back the land, which was a very big mistake because those people are power driven and they want to be in charge of everything. Look at what's happening in Palestine. Palestine allowed European Jews to come to their country in 1948, and ever since then, The Palestinian people have been catching hell. The same for African people who allowed the Europeans to come to the continent. Ever since then, African people have been catching hell from the former colonizers. For example, Captain Ibrahim Aturi of Burkina Faso has had at least 10 assassination attempts on his life. Why? Because he he kicked out the French in order to reclaim his land and resources from France. That's why Captain Ibrahim Atari was talking against democracy. If you refuse to pay reparations for colonization, then kick out every European on the African soil, and don't do business with them. Do business with other groups that will trade with us at market rate. Afrikaners are only 7% of the population, yet they own 80% of the land, which is crazy for real. That's a straight up turnoff. You understand, Julius Malema has been fighting against that for years. The white supremacist financial elites are trying to stick anything on him to remove him from office. In the last election, black South Africans had an opportunity to vote for Julius Malema as president. Instead, they voted the ANC back into office after 32 years of them being in power. That was a mistake. That was a very big mistake. But hey, it is what it is. Then the Democratic Alliance, the regime of the former colonizer, came in second place. That's what guys are. Those people want they want to control South Africa again. That's all. And you're just gonna have to work together to limit their power. Kick them out of office. Shoot, they don't deserve to be over. They don't deserve that. Shoot, if they want to stay in Africa, they can do business and all that stuff, but just don't let them be involved in politics. That's what I would have said, because they're very sneaky, and they just want to sit up here and be racist and stuff, because they don't have the resources that Africa has. That's all that is. And if you're racist and if you don't like black people, then take your behind back to your homeland and don't do business with us. That's all I'm saying. The the MK came in third place, and the EFF came in fourth place. President Donald Trump asked President Ramaphosa to have Julius Malema arrested for singing, quote, "kill the Boer," unquote, and inciting violence. The biggest mistake that Africans are making is falling into this Western democracy system, which is created by the white man. Africans are advocating for socialism. I believe we need both capitalism and socialism, just like China. The Chinese have embraced the capitalist market system when it comes to enriching themselves. Africa have to look at the system that is existing in the world and try to tailor some of our policy towards that instead of just using socialism alone. I like Mandela's ideas. I like the fact that he's fighting for the continent, but his economic policies are flawed. Instead of him arguing that South Africa's shift to nationalism, he should also argue that companies in South Africa be diverted to black South African businesses, because a majority of their businesses is controlled by Europeans. They have the economic power. We all know what happens to black South Africans that generally care about Africans, and want a better Africa for African people. The white supremacist financial elites try to have their voices silenced. The white supremacist financial elites have the black politicians in their pockets, and the African politicians in their pockets is why things don't change in Black America as well. Our leaders become collaborators, then they are compromised or become corrupt, which makes them sellouts. For example, they make sure their children are educated in the West. They go to hospitals overseas and they develop a narcissist attitude. In Kirkai of Africa, there will be consequences for those who will try to undermine us. If you look at what's happening with the war in Iran, it tells you the problem is not the Europeans or American, it's Africa. We're not taking charge. Africans are coming to Western nations to help build up um, other people's economies while neglecting the African economy. African people and Black people today are not fighting for our people as a collective like our grandparents did during the 60s. Today, in America and in Africa, we have Black faces in high places, like people like Obama, who has a colonized mindset. They are put in place to perpetuate and continue what the colonial masters left, and that is what we are up against today. Please read my ebook, and if you agree with my vision and plan to help improve Black America, then specifically Black Chicago, then you will automatically become a GERCAM member. In just about every Black nation on the continent, these white supremacist financial elites are controlling our land and resources. They are building up a lot of industries, and when the resources are taken, Black Americans are getting 20%. Sorry, Black Africans are getting 20% of our own product, while the white man takes 70 to 80% of the product. We are being cheated by these thieves. Only 20% of ordinary African people who are the rightful owners of the resources that God has given us, those resources. This is why I created GERCAM, which is based on two fronts: a domestic front, meaning to focus on solving Black issues here in America, and also on an international front, meaning solving um, African issues on the continent. These white supremacist financial elites are hoarding our resources in their nations. They will drain us dry and leave our children with nothing. We, as Black people and African people, cannot allow this to happen. If you become a GERCAM member, I need for you to help me get my revised book on that bestsellers list so that I can be in a better position financially to hire Black people, African people, and others. You know what I'm saying? Once we get GERCAM Chicago up and running, then I can turn the business over to my advisory board or resource team and then expand the business to South Africa. Nigeria is filthy rich, according to many documentaries that I have watched. They they have a lot of resources. We only hear about the negative things about Nigeria. Nigerians should be fighting for their government, not fleeing to the West or to South Africa. Ghana has a population of 30 million people. The rest are all foreign nationals. My question is, how many more can a country like Ghana take even to build schools, hospitals, and grocery stores? They have to go and borrow money, or they have to wait on donations to build schools. Where do you think the money is coming from for Ghana to sustain all this? They can't sustain themselves. Africans need to put pressure on your leaders, not fighting other Africans, because at the end of the day, it's about fighting for our basic resources. Since the invasion of Europeans using their powerful weapons and guns versus our people using spears, that was an uneven match. This is how they took over the entire African continent. But they claimed that was legal back then, but it was their laws and governments which was passed down to today's governments. So they still liable. That's what that means. Don't let them out talk you. If you're not going to pay Africa's reparation for colonization, then Africa will not do any business with you until the debt is paid in full. And you have to stand on that, Africans. That's why I'm saying people beyond the government, people, the majority. Africa, you have to be on business, and that means being on code. That's what Kai of Africa will do when I bring the Kai to the continent. We're going to fight like hell for African people. In America, I am being disrespected due to this slave mentality among Black Americans, but that's fine. This is much bigger than myself. For 34 years, Black Americans, specifically Black Chicagoans, have been acting funny with me, talking down to me, telling me, "Oh, I can't eat a book. You're not supposed to eat a book. You're supposed to read a book." All that foolishness. But hey, in my business, we raising that bar. That's just how it is with me. I ain't compromising on over here. I tried to fight for my people in America for 34 years, online and in real life, and yet I'm still on first base. And this is why I created this platform to recruit brave and smart Black people and African people. Help me get this thing up and running. I can't do everything. This is a Nehemiah assignment. Um, and again, a majority of Black Chicagoans tell me they're not interested. And I'm like, cool, no problem. Just keep don't talk, just keep it moving. We ain't got nothing to talk about. No. But truth be told, the white man is not stopping Black Americans from buying my revised book. The white man is not stopping Black Americans from patronizing items from my virtual store. The white man is not stopping Black Americans from donating to my film project. That's a personal choice. That's Willie Lynch in real time, ladies and gentlemen. This is why I created this platform to broadcast my vision and plan to those who would listen. I would carry out my God-given assignment, so help me God. Touch the hearts and minds of Black Americans beyond Chicago and give them courage to purchase my ebook and read my story that you have given me. Touch the hearts and minds of African immigrants across the United States of America and give them courage to purchase my ebook and to read my story that you have given me. Together, Black Americans and African immigrants who are CAM members will help me build the best Black Christian business within the United States of America. That is the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago. We're building it in the low-income Black community, in the devil's stronghold for credibility before I cut and run. That's all I'm saying. White supremacy is coming to an end in Africa. That's all I'm saying. How can you allow this tiny minority have a stronghold on your resources for so long? Again, I would say a lot of these Black politicians have become a race traders. The Kai of Africa will consist of Black Americans, descendants of American slaves / freedmen, and native Black South Africans. We will offer our talents and skills in exchange for dual citizenship and land. We will provide job opportunities to Black South Africans who become CAM members. We will end tribalism and become one tribe. I'm just saying, we ain't coming over there with all those different tribes. That's what got you all in the situation you're in now. Through our for-profit business, we will own and control, like I say, our own community grocery store, community healthcare center, and community housing, because everybody needs food, healthcare, and shelter. And those are always going to be able to create jobs in those sectors. I watched a video from African Diaspora News Channel about Jamaica entitled, quote, Asian woman claims Jamaica does not belong to Black people, unquote. You have all these Chinese people flocking to a Black nation, buying up beachfronts while native Black Jamaicans can't set up a food stand on their own beaches. Wake up, Black people, African people worldwide. Join CAM. while we still have a chance to make things right for our people on a global scale. We're talking about a black nation from the bottom to the top, went through slavery and everything else. Then all of a sudden, the Jamaican government is selling its beef frontages to the highest bidder. In conclusion, it's time to get on code and join GRCAM, ladies and gentlemen. This is what the continent needs. This has been a betrayal of Julius Malema. Africa isn't just Africa anymore. Now we have Arabs, Asians, East Indians, and Europeans. The threat is much bigger now. You used to have just one set of colonizers, and now it was, and then it was small. Now Africa has foreign nationals from the industrial world. Today, you can have thousands of people sitting on your soil within hours. This is the real threat going on the continent. We got to protect ourselves against these threats because, based on their treatment of Julius Malema, they have embraced their fate. This is a disgrace. What they've allowed to occur to Julius Malema. Africa has allowed every colonizer on the continent welcoming them with while blocking the return of displaced Africans. We are saying get your house in order or soon you won't have a house. Please leave a public comment about the topic in the comment section below this audio podcast and share with your friends on all social media sites you are on. Thank you for listening to our audio podcast and for joining us on the stream. We are greatly appreciated. I need all hands on deck to get behind our film project so that we can move GRCAM from behind a computer to the next level, and that is the big screen, to let the Black world know who we are and what we're trying to do for descendants of American slaves / freedmen who reside in the low-income Black community. Quote, Hood Liberator made in Chicago, the war against Willie Lynch begins. Unquote. You can be a part of this historic docudrama by contributing to our crowdfunding pages, which are our GoFundMe page, our buy me a coffee page, or our PayPal Giving Fund page, which will help fund marketing, promotion, clearance, legal, and general expenses. Thank you for listening to our YouTube live or the playback. If you reside on the African continent, then I recommend that you follow me on my pod chaser because it won't eat away at your bundles because it's audio only. I provide the link in the comment section below this audio podcast. If you are new to Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast, welcome to our safe space where we discuss Black issues and African issues. We do this every week. This will conclude our audio podcast for today. Please like, share, and subscribe. See you on the next episode. Peace and blessings. Now, before I go, like I said, I'm going to show people how to maneuver on my Medium transcript. So just a moment. All right, so again, this is how you find my Medium transcript. So it's manuelonline.medium.com. Again, that's man. See, this is the cursor. manuelonline.medium.com. And see right here where it says pin up. So that's the pin. You just click on there and everything is going to pop up. Please follow me on here, ladies and gentlemen. I would appreciate that. All right. And now I'm going to scroll down. Yes, it's a lot of material. But hey, I mean, like I say, I come with receipts. You know, so just bear with me once we get down to um, show and prove. Then I'm gonna just point out the different, I would say, videos and all that good stuff. I recommend if you're able, just look at all of them. You know what I'm saying? Look at everything I have there, and that give you a pretty good idea about what I'm about, and um, hopefully encourage some of you to want to get involved. My thing is, we can't help everybody. Some of our people, they have a slave mentality. You just have to leave them alone. I keep my distance. I don't hate my family. I love them, but I love them afar because I'm not going to let them poison my brain. You know what I'm saying? Not at all. Nobody. If you start talking against, you know, I would say black black economic empowerment, I don't want to fool with you. So right here, ladies and gentlemen, that's about the young teenager that was fatally shot. And again, this happens every week, not just in Chicago. This happens in every inner city across the United States. It's just sad. And then, unfortunately, about this brother, he's. I say that when you start using those street drugs and stuff like that, makes you paranoid, and so you know that's what happens. End up harming ourselves. So it's not good at all. Um, Now, these are the stuff I'd like for you to look at. This is, my credibility and my receipts. Read the article about that's coming from AP. So that's Associate Press News. So check that out. Check it out from here. This one, uh, all of them. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna say that. Just check all of them out. You know. But the main thing I just want to point out, with all out of all of this stuff, what I want to point out is, bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, check out the Australian history. This is what the white supremacist financial elites did. Read about the colonization of Brazil and Australia, the Black Wars. They always bugging, you know. Up here trying to take other people's stuff because they don't have it. Just man. Right here, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I'm gonna keep saying this and I'm gonna keep beating that drum loud as I can. I call it my main sources. So this is talking about um, Kamala Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris. How black women, from a Zoom call, 44,000 black women. That's what it says. This is coming from Fortune magazine. Raised how much? 1.5 million for Kamala Harris in 3 hours. If black women would use that same energy, because I have a lot of black women that's on my friends list on these social sites. That's all I'm asking you to help me raise that $250,000. It shouldn't have to take no 34 years. This is what our people are up against. Because, well, the fall of Black America is, it is what it is. Our children is going to be hurt once the Democrats get back in office, because they're going to eventually win the White House again and the Senate, and Congress, House of Representatives, they're gonna win that stuff back. And all they're gonna do is open up those borders, letting all those illegals right back so that they can compete against Black Americans. I've done the best. If all I'm like I say, that's the only thing that's holding me. And plus, I'm on a shoestring budget, so I can't do much. I'm like, I don't know why God gave me this vision for in the first place. If bless me with the right people so I can go and do my job. And I'm telling people right now, work with me while I'm alive. Don't wait until I'm dead. I would like to get the thing up and running. I want to be doing this another 34 years. Ladies and gentlemen. But again, right here, this is coming from The Guardian, okay? Median wealth of Black Americans, quote, will fall to zero by 2053, unquote. I say by 2040, And that's where we look at, the 2024 election, Black women, 92%. They love to brag about that, 92%. Black men, 77%. Democrats. Yeah. Use that same they say that 600,000 Black women are laid off. If Gurkaya Chicago was up and running, we can hire some of those sisters and brothers. But I don't have support. How can I hire people? That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to do a business. Oh boy, this is it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. But nevertheless, like I said, we'll just help the people we can. We can't help everybody. Some people want to stay on that slave mentality. That's on them. I don't want those persons around me at all. We're going to support each other. People that have good. I'm going to talk about that on Saturday. About the advantage of being a GRCAM member and trying to raise funds for the film project. But I do want to mention this too. This is my book, ladies and gentlemen, under where it says My Credibility. This is where you can get my ebook or the softcover book. So I have that. I have our GoFundMe page where you can donate on there. I have my PayPal Giving Fund page. And like I say, if you're a U.S. citizen, I recommend you use that one because you can use that as a tax write-off. This is a legitimate 501c3. Did that because I want people to know that this is not a scam. This is our buy me a coffee page. You can donate on there. This is where you can buy items from my virtual store. Click on there. That's Spotify. That's where you can listen to it. This is the one I'd encourage Africans to befriend me on. Befriend me on Podchaser. So that way you can just listen to it and it doesn't eat up your bundles like it would if it was a video. Okay? All right, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I wanted to show you. Again, I'm just doing the best that I can. God is my witness. That's all I can say. Peace and blessings.